Árnason. Valbert skorar. Valbert Gunnarsson hefur skorað. Ragnar Bergjesson skot og mark. Glæsilega. Óskar Rafn á móti Bjarna. Og Bjarni með góða sendingu fyrir og Haraldur Ingólfsson.
Hello and welcome back to the best of pod ever. I am Ragnar, and I too am back from a small absence, and I am joined, as always, by
Tryggvi. That's me.
That is thee. And we are gathered here today to discuss round 6 of the Besta Deildin, not the Besta Pod, and a little bit of cup malarkey sprinkled on top, for cup malarkey did transpire in the interim, as they say. But let's dive into the results, shall we? Or shan't we?
We shall.
We shall.
Something. I don't know.
Like
Jesus.
a diver. What's that famous British diver?
Yeah. Eddie the Eagle was a skier.
Tom Daly is who I'm talking about. 3 years my junior, Tom Daly, much more successful. Avid knitter. Anyway, we are talking about the games that went down. It's been a couple of days now, the 10th and the 11th of our Lord's month, May. If we dive right in to the results, what appears to be one of the finest teams in the world, Vestri, continued being such, beating Afturhelding 2-0. KR beat IPVAF 4-1, which sounds great, but there's a plot twist later. Valur absolutely destroyed IA 6-1. Breiðablik beat KA away 1-0. Stjarnan beat Fram 2-0 Fram. And Víkingur beat FH 3-1. We ask ourselves first and foremost, are there any upsets here? And to answer that question in the most objective of fashions, what shall we do?
Revert back to the predictions of the world's foremost Vestri expert, Jamie Fletcher. See if he predicted all this, or if this is all malarkey, as you say.
Word. And if we look at the predictions, what's more dramatic? Should I read them out, or should I give a sort of overview of what he said? Let's not drag it up too much, shall we? He did excellently, which means there were no upsets. There was maybe one upset. He got all bar one game correct, as in a final result. So he actually wouldn't have won on an accumulator. He would have lost. So I guess he's terrible. But he got all of them correct bar one, and he got one right on the money in terms of score. So Vestri Afturhelding, KR IPVAF, Valur IA, and KA Breiðablik, he all got the correct result. Víkingur FH, he got the correct score. And then Stjarnan Fram, he predicted a 2-2 draw, and Fram unfortunately failed to deliver on their half of the bargain. Their 2 goals, it ended 2-0 to Stjarnan. So no real upsets.
Stjarnan Fram, I think, was the big sort of game that I don't know if anyone could have predicted that. Like with full confidence that one, it was going to go one way or the other. But yeah, no, I think everything else sort of went to plan, I guess, with some variations. In terms of, I don't think anyone saw Valur scoring 6 against IA, maybe. Probably people predicted Breiðablik to score more against KA. And then, but probably people predicted KA to concede more against IPVAF, which they duly delivered later on.
Yeah, in the cup, which I guess is a competition we hate now and don't take seriously.
It's pointless.
We joke. Whatever, we've alluded to the cup. Let's just do the goddamn cup then. So Kauer, like we say, beating IPVF 4-1 in the league, flying relatively high, doing well, doing their thing, sitting pretty in fourth place now, but they were sort of at the time when they were playing IPVF, they were better, right? It was before some other games. Am I right? Am I wrong? Anyway, there was a time when I looked at the table and they were in like second place behind Vestri. It was awesome. Then along comes the cup, as we say. And if we just rattle off the results and do the Kauer one last. Thor beating Selfoss 4-1. Afturhelding beating IA 1-0, which is a little bit of perhaps a surprise to some. I don't know. Keflavik beating Víkingur Ólafsvík 5-2. Valur beating Þróttur 2-1. Kári and Stjarnan drawing, but Stjarnan ultimately winning on penalties there. Fram beating KA 4-2, and my boys Vestri beating Breiðablik 2-1, continuing being the best, one of the finest teams in the world. But unfortunately, another one of the finest teams in the world is IPVF in the cup. Last round, they beat Víkingur last time round 3-0. I believe I'm right. I think it was 3-0, which is insane. And then they go out and beat Kauer 4-2 after just losing to Kauer 4-1.
Yeah, away as well. So it's super doubly impressive. Same with Vestri, away at Breiðablik. It's turning into a bit of a hootenanny in this cup. They're gonna draw the next round, the quarterfinals. That'll be drawn in a few minutes, so we can see if we can get or maybe an hour. I don't know. We probably won't get the draw, but I guess by the time you listen to this, you'll know the draw. But there's not a lot of traditionally big teams left. Now it's so you wonder if it's Valur who just think, okay, we can finally win something, or if it's teams like Vestri, like Fram, like IPVF that realistically aren't gonna. I mean, Vestri probably will win the league, so they'll qualify for the Champions League. but Fram and IPVF, how realistic is it that they're gonna be in the European battle by the end of the season? So they only have to win 3 more games, and then they're in Europe. So that's, I mean, obviously there's a cup as well, but it's quite a lot of money for them to get for 3 wins.
I mean, absolutely. And then when Vestri inevitably next year in the Champions League, this sort of form, they go on to win the Champions League. I mean, that'll be insane. It'll completely change the face of Icelandic football and just Ísafjörður in general. It'll be amazing.
Although I'm not looking forward to all the articles that's going to come out when they play in the group stages of the Champions League. Every single week it's going to be something about the westernmost team in Europe, and
some nonsense.
And I talk about how fishing is the key to their success.
Oh God, yeah, something about elves and God, yeah, it's the worst. It's like on the internet, Icelandic people just get books for Christmas and sit together by the fireside reading them together and stroking their pet elves and whatever. Shit like this.
Yeah,
oh well.
So that'll be the annoying part of us winning the Champions League next year. But
but the rest will be awesome.
This is Valur's to lose, surely. Like if Valur don't win this cup now, this is, I don't know. They have to just quit. I don't know.
Yeah, just fold as a club.
Like Vestri is objectively the best side in this now, with IPVF and Stjarnan, maybe Fram coming close second.
Yeah,
it'll be interesting. It's nice. We have two lower league sides as well in this. We almost had Kári, just barely got squeezed out by Stjarnan. But I think Kári even scored a winner in injury time, but the ball went out of play or something.
There's a joke there for the Icelandic listeners about Kári being squeezed out at this point. There's if you're Icelandic, you might understand. It's a good little pop culture reference. It's timely. Anyway.
But I mean, it's nice. We have 2 lower league clubs. Hopefully they get paired up. Thor and Keflavik get paired up in the next round, and then we can get one in the semifinals.
I'll go to the final if Vestri are playing it.
Vestri,
honestly.
Vestri
absolutely. I'll go to that. I'm planning on going to Vestri Kauer when it happens. So if I'm there, you can buy me a beer, whoever you are, listener. I'll be there. Anyway, back to La Liga, as they say. I mean, what do we have to talk about there? Everything went according to plan. There's nothing to talk about. I guess we can talk about the sort of insane goal that happened that Vikingur scored against FO.
Yeah, not the best day for Matthias Rosenern, the goalkeeper at FO. Giving basically, what the headlines was that he gave the points to Vikingur. I don't think the defense in total looked super great in neither of those goals, but no, he didn't. He didn't paint himself too well in neither the 2-1 or the 3-1.
No, I mean, if I'm their manager, I probably put a little embargo, or what do you want to call it, on playing out from the back for a little bit. Because both of them came from those sorts of positions where he has the ball, there's a bit of a high press going on, and he decides to play the ball kind of through the middle of the park, short pass to a defender, and it goes terribly wrong. The first of the two mistake goals, though, I will say that I would have thoroughly enjoyed seeing a VAR offside review there, because if it's Nico Hansen, right, who's there standing in front of the keeper. If he's offside when Gylfi plays the ball, then it's an offside. It's a clear offside.
Yeah, you can. Matthias gets all weird. Doesn't really know what to do because the striker is right there in front of him, and he makes a motion of trying to kick the ball. So
yeah, he absolutely goes for, like, he lets the ball go through his legs, but not in a way where he's like making it very clear he's not going to do anything. He clearly feints towards it and stuff. It's he's influencing play so hard there that it's definitely, if he's standing offside when the ball's played, which you can't really see from the match feed, then it's an offside. The commentator Grimmy Bench seems to think that he was in an offside position, which makes me think that it should have been called as an offside, but I don't know. The second one is a gift, unfortunately. Speaking of gifts, there was another, I guess if we were going to rock back and forth in the cup and whatever, there was Kawa gifted similarly a goal to Fram, another sort of play out from the back, which went wrong. But there, like, what makes it terrible there is the keeper kind of just takes a leisurely stroll back to his goal whilst Fram play it down to the end line and just the most dangerous of crosses right basically on the goal line. And then what really gets me is the keeper's reaction after the fact. They're sort of like, it's exasperated at external circumstances. How could this happen? How do bad things happen to good people? And he just like fucking walked back. It was absurd.
Yeah, I think I was trying to see, because I mean, this guy is quite a bit of a favorite for some of the media in Iceland. I mean, to be fair, he's kept Kawa afloat. He was a big reason they won the cup last year. I think he's fair to say he's a bit of a club legend.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think he's looked very good this season. I think he's made some saves. He saved a penalty, I think, in the beginning of the match. But I think he's starting to look his age now, potentially, or I don't know what it is, or just the different shots he's getting or something. But yeah, but still I think the way he was described in the live commentary for this game was that the striker came the defense was all messed up. The striker was 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper who saved the initial effort, and then Fram managed to find the space to score the second goal. But like, that's not how I didn't see him save anything. He just sort of came out very slowly for the ball, didn't get the ball, and then walked back and
that's right.
Yeah.
In my head, it had been another play out from the back, but it wasn't. Yeah, he comes out. I mean, he does sort of close him down effectively. I'll give him that. He comes out kind of slowly. He does close it down, and it's fine. And if he had rushed back to the line, it would have been fine. Like, I find it hard to fault someone for this sort of thing if the effort is truly there, but it's this sort of just kind of walking back and then being like, that's where things start to fall a little bit short. But I mean, I think, yeah, the close down was okay, but
I think it's a bit FO. Kawa. Now there's too many too many acronyms.
Too many
abbreviations. And they're all kind of, there's too many A's and I don't know. Anyway, Kawa, I think, I mean, they're not having a good season. Spoiler alert. and now they're out of the cup, which was their saving grace last year. They played badly, but they won the cup, and they sort of muddled their way to 7th place.
Yeah.
Or sixth or 7th place, right? Or 7th or 8th place. Now they're out of the cup, and they're bottom of the league after 6 games. And yeah, like I agree with the body language and the reaction from the goalkeeper, but I'm seeing it from everyone, and you saw it from the goal scorer from Hallgrímur Mar, who scored the first goal, and it was a great goal, like an overhead kick, and he was left out of the starting lineup in the league game in the weekend, so he gave it all, and did like cupped his hands around his ears, and like people talk or did the talking motion with his hands or something. I don't know exactly, but like very animated, like upset, and then this is his redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
And then they go and lose 4-2. Like it's
Shit.
a team that's very. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame celebrating. Like, it was a great goal, and they're scoring 1-0 in front of home fans in the cup. She should celebrate, but it seems very like they're very angry, kind of. Like, he was very upset with the manager being left out, and now these and he came with a interview after the game, and he was complaining that he was left out, and you could see it as well. I think it was at the league game. I think it might have been the league game against. Breiðablik, we see the goal go in, and then just like the whole defense did a bit like Valor did last year, just like hands in the air, complaining, and just I don't know, just giving up. It's like, oh no, it happened again, kind of thing. Like it doesn't. It's weird because they have some experienced heads there. Masada Roma, that they bought in from Lyngby, for example, he should be someone else. I mean, maybe he is, and he's just not working. But like they bought in these sort of players. And it just seemed to be falling apart, and they're getting a lot of criticism. They got one from their former player who said like they basically have the same team that when he was playing there like 6-7 years ago. I mean, they lost 2 very big players to Ikengur.
Yeah,
and they don't really seem to have replaced them with any new energy. I'm a bit worried about Kawa. I think, but I don't know. Maybe they have enough to get. I mean, they should have enough to avoid relegation, but the 2 teams that came up, Afturhalding and IBF, they look pretty spry. So I don't see them. I mean, unless they collapse in the second half, I don't really see Kawa being that much better than either one of them.
I mean, what if IA and FH have a full-on collapse?
Yeah, I mean, they're not having a good season either. They've conceded now, how many goals in their last? 5-0 against Kawa, and they beat Kawa 3-0, and then they lost 6-1 against Valur.
Just fully rolling the very high numbered dice on every game. It's just going to go great or terribly. Yeah, I was optimistic for IA at the start of the season, but I guess it's just sort of rose-tinted goggles from last season, and overlooking the fact that they lost to Smaratona and some.
Yeah, they don't seem to have replaced them, and they don't have. I don't know. They seem to be struggling to defend, which is not what you would expect from them. Maybe they struggle to score goals because they lost a big player in Henrik to Norway, but conceding this much is quite worrying.
We've been open about our allegiances on this podcast, so we try to be fair and try to be nice to people. But I would love it if FH go down. It's like that would be great for me personally.
Let's see if Joe is listening to this podcast.
Sorry,
this is a good test.
I don't know, man. They were a real thorn in Kawa's side for like a little formative time for us, I guess. They were annoying, and then their administrative element and their sort of open corruption in how they operate. It would be nice for them to get a little bit of a spanking. I said it, but we'll see how that goes. We maintain our objectivity.
Yeah, I mean, I think this could be one of those things where they might be in serious trouble if they go down. I don't know, because I mean they've had reported issues with paying players, and
I mean, won't they just get the town of Hafnarfjörður to buy something else off of them, cover some finances or whatever? I mean, who cares, right? You can always find money in the money pit. Anyway.
Anyway.
Speaking of age, you said a long time ago something his age is showing. We're going to segue. Can you segue for something that happened ages ago? Anyway, we're going to segue into the opposite end of that spectrum. Alexander Rapp for KR. Youngest player to play in the top division. Youngest player to start a game in the top division. 2 separate games, by the way. Absolutely 2 separate games. And then youngest player to score in the top division, which is the same game that he started. So 14 years and 147 days for playing and 15 years and 33 days for starting and scoring. Icelandic Messi?
Well, he broke those records were belonging to Eiður Smári. So
Icelandic Eiður Smári?
Didn't. I mean, he didn't do too badly for himself playing at Chelsea and Barcelona for the young listeners who might not remember him. And Bolton and Greece somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
I don't know, he played in a lot of different places.
I met him in an elevator once. Chill dude. Yeah, I mean, breaking records. What's that? No, never mind. But looking good. I mean, I assume KR are just going to have him for the one season and then he'll go somewhere in Scandinavia or whatever. Or Reading. Icelandic dudes love going to Reading.
Well, he's been on trial with Sociedad as well, apparently. But there's been Italy was a place where Icelandic people went for a while. True. It didn't go super well. We have a few left there, but yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if Spain now starts looking at Icelandic leagues.
Iceland has been called the Spain of Europe.
I've heard that before. Yeah. He won't stay for very long. His dad famously is a KR legend as well, and now the sporting director, I think, or something. I don't know. He's doing something in KR. So he's probably going to follow in his dad's footsteps and have a pretty
and then come back much later. Well, that'll be fine. He can do that. We're rooting for him. But it's nice to see these sorts of records being broken. It's good. Speaking of, segueing from our talk of Eiður, right? We can talk about Arnór Borg.
Yeah, it seems very. I mean, it's not like he's had maybe the best time of it consistently. I would say maybe that's a good caveat. It's sort of good addition to that, like, because he's had some good games and good times, but he's maybe not been the consistent force that people would have hoped from joining. He joined Víkingur first, I think, and then he went to FH. But ever since joining Vestri a few weeks ago, he's looking very good. That assist that he made for Daði Berg for the winner against Breiðablik is delicious. Yeah, and then an interesting post from Kristal Máni, who plays in Sønderjyske here in Denmark, saying calling FH out and that they weren't able to use this kid. This is not a team that seems to be scoring a lot of goals, and they couldn't use this kid who's doing brilliantly for Vestri. So
for a direct rival. Well, I mean, no, not anymore. I guess they're literally on mirror opposite ends of the table. So. It
seems like a bit of this could be a huge mistake in Vestri. I'm pretty sure they have some sort of option to buy. I don't know how much I'm going to say FH have in that, or if they can just buy him immediately. But I mean, it's only been 2 or 3 games now, so let's see. But so far, no, it's not looking good. This is not looking like the best season for FH.
How sad. We hate to see it.
I guess we need to be a little bit nice to Valur, because they had a pretty good week.
6-1. 6-1 against IA and 2-1 against Þróttur.
And I mean, if you look at because there's some stats that came out, we don't have access to Wisecout. If someone wants to pay for our Wisecout access, they're more than welcome. But with some Wisecout data came out, and it's interesting that Valur is actually kind of performing as they should. Their XG, expected goals, is 14.6. They've scored 14 goals. Their goals against expected was 9.7. They've conceded 10.
All right.
So they kind of are where they should be. Maybe even should be a bit lower. I think their expected points are 11.3 according to this. Their points are actually they should be higher. Sorry, I read that wrong. So they should at 11.3, and they have 9 points. So they
it
so
should be above KR perhaps.
Yeah, Kawa are wildly overperforming. Their XG of 15 over 9, over the reality of 19 goals. But I mean, then you have Vestri, who's just outperforming everything. They should have conceded 10 goals, but they conceded 2. But I think it's kind of interesting that Valor are kind of performing how they should be. So it's not like there doesn't seem to be, which maybe is worrying because I think as Valor fans they might have hoped that there's some sort of reserve they can tap into. Like you can see Breiðablik, they've conceded a bit more than they should, so maybe their defense can tighten up a little bit. Vikingur haven't scored as much as they should. There's if they can convert their chances a bit better, that sort of thing. But Valor seem to be kind of on par. I don't know if that's good or bad, and I don't know how much of a difference this EA game would be. Nice to see this game before the EA, or these stats before the EA game, how they looked.
Yeah, but speaking of EA, like last year, one of their sort of standout aspects of their gooditude was the goalkeeping performance over the course of the season. And now, their XG against is 11.75, but they have actually conceded 15, which is unfortunate in that regard. And then similarly, they are scoring way fewer goals than their predicted. Predicted 9, scored 6. So they're underperforming in attack, which may be something we would have expected based on what happened, but then on top of that, for some reason they're underperforming defensively and in goal as well, which is compounding this. Would have been nice to see another goalkeeping masterclass this season, but maybe it'll come as the season continues.
He's still quite young, but no, he hasn't. I don't think he looked super good against. I mean, it's hard to look good in the 6-1 loss, but he also, in the loss against After, I think the way he came out, he completely just missed Benjamin Stalker there in the penalty area, it seems like, which is, I don't understand how you can not see him.
I hope it's just start of the season, just sort of randomness, because he was excellent last season. And I don't think that he's all of a sudden a different player. I would doubt that very much. He's a great goalkeeper.
I think maybe most worrying for EA is their ball possession is the lowest in the league. It's below Vestri, which is, everyone's talking about how Vestri doesn't have the ball and just counters, a bit like they did in the cup. But yeah, EA has the lowest one. And I mean, Vestri is only 0.3% lower than FO? Yeah, for FO and EA, I think those are quite bad things.
They're not great. Coward with the most ball possession at 61.1, and doing medium with it. That's they're doing all right, doing better than last year.
They're fun at least. I mean, but the expected points table has Vestri last, which is not great.
No. But their expected goals is so dreadful. Is the expected points table based on just total, like XG, blah, blah, blah things, or is it based on per game?
Yeah, I think it's per game. I think it's
because that makes way more sense.
Yeah, so they probably should have. I mean, they should have lost a bunch of games, or I don't know. I think it's probably more because it's 4.8, right? So they don't think they take every game and should they have won this, lost this, whatever. It's
okay. So I don't know. It would be stupid if they just do it like a full aggregate of all games and then just say you should have scored this many goals. That would make no sense. Yeah, I don't know how they do it, but I'm still going to criticize the way they do it because they probably did it wrong. Anyway,
but it's interesting. Hopefully, we can watch this a little bit as the season goes along because I mean, FO is 5th in the expected points league, which is so. I mean, in theory, they have some reserves to tap into there.
Yeah, Kawa do not, though. They are second last in the expected table and last in real life. So, like you were saying, they don't appear to have much to tap into, and they're in a bad place. So that's not great.
No, but I mean, and same with the goalkeeping thing, right? They have this sort of same as EA. They expected goals against is 11. They've conceded 15.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, starts of seasons are always just starts of seasons, right? But now it's 6 games in, things need to start taking the sort of shape that they're going to ultimately have. You don't have the start of season excuse for all that long, especially in a league where there's fewer games than, you know, in the 20-team leagues, etc. And also where the split happens, where you need to make your mark in a timely fashion.
Quick maths. How far are we into the season before the split?
Oh, then we're about a third of the way there, right? No, a quarter of the way there. Surely 24 would make 6 a quarter, so yeah, we're just over 25% of the way. So we're in the middle age of it all. We're in prime. So now is when you
prime level.
Yeah. So we need to be performing optimally, boys, and some appear to not be. But it's interesting, this sort of XG stuff, because like on a game by game basis, it becomes kind of inane. And fully after a season, it also just becomes like a matter of like, oh, well, this is how it could have been. But I think this is kind of the optimal time to look at those sorts of stats, because there's so much left to play and there's only so few games that you expect people to be sort of deviating from their averages, decently speaking. And this should provide pretty good insight into these teams' like real performances. And they are largely going to regress to these numbers. Is what the math would tell you. So Vestri need to maintain a sort of Leicester level elite full season performance, which is doable. You can ride on these sort of highs, right? And unity and the spirit of friendship and all that stuff and perform excellently for a season. But a lot of these things, especially the people who like Ia, Kawa, Stjarnan maybe, these sorts of teams that don't seem to have a lot of reserves and don't have a lot of like wild successes to build on and feel great about, those are probably going to regress to their actual performances. So that, you know, it's probably a decent insight into what the season will look like for Kawa and Ia and Stjarnan. And maybe after that, think, depending on how hyped they are about being in the big leagues and stuff. So that's interesting. I think this is a good time to look at these things.
No, it's I was going to say something. I forgot.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're welcome. And speaking of peak performance, players of the round.
Players of the round, indeed. 1 star, or first star, Lucas Loye for Valur. I mean, 2 goals and an assist. That's a key contribution to half of the goals scored against their absolute takedown. I guess that's worthy of a star. What did we say? If you score, how many goals and you get a star? Is it 3 goals?
4. I think Ben only scored 4 at some point, and that was like definitely a star. But we might have said that 3 gives you pretty much a star.
I mean, 2 and an assist, you get sort of you get considered. You officially get, like in the meeting, you know, which never happens. Then you officially get. You're on the minutes. But he was granted a star, so that's good.
Another scorer, not 2 goals, but 1 goal, was Sveit Gisle of Vikingur. Scored his first ever top division goal, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was just very immense. Has had a pretty good season, and I mean, can you say Vikingur are disappointing when they're first in the league? I don't know, but yeah,
with 1 loss and 1 draw.
I don't know. It seems disappointing, but I don't know. He's been a bit of a bright spot in this horrendous season they're having.
Yeah, absolutely pathetic. Amen. And then in the sort of counterbalancing that, the great season that Vestri are having, 1 place below Vikingur, we have Morten Hansen, who got an assist and a half for fishing the first penalty. That was converted, and just been an absolute rock in the Vestri defense all season, all 6 of the games. But just putting in a hell of a shift, ensuring that they're there, worthy of a star there, the 3rd star, perhaps the most important star, the one that shines brightest. I don't know.
We didn't really consider the cup this time around. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. I guess maybe Oliver Hedersson and Omar So can get a honorary mention. They can sort of both for absolutely destroying KR. I think they had a pretty decent game in the first one. They just couldn't score, but yeah, they're not getting a star because we're petty. But they could have if they were.
They get this sort of when you're in Super Mario 64, and you've already gotten the star, but you get it again, then it's just this sort of like outline of a star, and it's sort of like see through. That's what they get. They get this sort of what was once a star. And it's technically something, but it's not really. Congratulations. The listener question, will Vestri finish in the top half? Majority, about 80% saying yes. I mean, that's what we like to see. I mean, I'd say they're safe. 13 points, 6 games in. That's safe.
But then we had this Icelandic league was famous, world famous for like 3 seconds because world famouser because obviously we're world famous, but because Ajax seemed to be blowing the league in Holland. So in the article about that on the BBC,
of course,
it finishes off with saying it could be worse for Ajax. Icelandic top flight side Þróttur made headlines in 2003 when they were top of the table halfway through the season after 9 games, but ended up being relegated. So
it's such a drive-by shooting for Þróttur. Like this article has nothing to do with them. That's so mean. But what a dreadful thing to have happen. That's horrible. Let's hope that doesn't happen to Vestri.
And they were knocked out of the cup this week, so not the best week of Þróttur.
No. Oh, poor boys. We wish them the best. But no, that's not going to happen to Vestri. We love Vestri. I'm a certified Vestri fanboy at this point. I was already last season. They're doing so well purely because of my good vibes that I send. So I take credit there.
You need to be careful. Be careful because every time you talked well about Ia, they started sinking. So.
Oh yeah, oof, that's true. And then I talked them up at the start of this season, and they really took that to heart. They didn't enjoy that at all. So I'll try to temper my enthusiasm for Vestri. I hate them now. Upcoming games, you say, to look out for. It is today, time of recording, 16th of May. You'll probably listen to this on perhaps the 17th, perhaps 18th, maybe even 19th. If 19th, oof, you're a bit late because the games start on the 18th. You should have listened earlier. On the 18th of May, Sunday, we have IBVF Kawa, a real fight, a real cockfight there, I don't know. Then we have Fram Vestri, where Vestri are going to dominate. We have Afturhelding KR, which should be a relatively interesting game, actually, in Mosfellsbær, a place that no one goes to. Then on the 19th, on Monday, we have Stjarnan Víkingur. Hopefully Stjarnan will beat Víkingur, allowing Vestri to shoot up into first. We have Breiðablik Valur, which is always an interesting game. And we have IA FH, where let's see if XG is king or if some other, can't think of some weird, clever turn of phrase there, but, or ER like yellow and black like a bee, so we could say like whether XG is king or whether the bee will sting.
Yeah.
On that note, I guess see you later.
Yeah, let's call this now. Have a good weekend and bye.
See you later.